Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another edition of AM Status Hearing. My name is Beth Wade, and today we're going to continue with some of those exercises for kyphotic curvature or curvature of the upward spine, of the upper spine. And we tend to have these problems when we do a lot of sitting or when we're just not aware of the posture. So we start every day in this class with diaphragmatic breathing to bring your attention to the abdominals and the lower back so that your breathing itself will help you to tone this area. But once we get aware of that and we can remind or we can feel ourselves engaging or not engaging that, it makes it a little easier to then begin to become a little more aware of our upper spine. So let's start lying on the back with the diaphragmatic breathing. Again, we want to start to become more aware of the diaphragmatic breathing because that helps us to tone this area and strengthen this area. And the breathing is something we can be doing all day long. So inhale into the belly, exhale from the belly. Remember, you want to fill the belly. Fill, F-I-L-L, and feel, F-E-E-L, the belly. As you exhale, the belly relaxes. Adding on the ribs, belly and ribs. Ribs separate as you fill. Exhale, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs. Exhale, ribs, belly. And finally, inhaling, belly, ribs, chest. Open up the chest. Feel the filling in the chest. Feel the opening. And then as you exhale, the chest falls, the ribs come together, and the belly pulls toward the spine. Inhale, belly, ribs, shoulders, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, and I'll add shoulders last. Exhale, shoulders, chest, ribs, belly, and breathing all the way out so that you can connect with that pelvic floor. And once you feel that inclination or that desire to breathe again, that is your pelvic floor engaging to cause you to take another breath. So exhale down, shoulders, chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And it's so easy to brush through this. And that's why it's so critical, because you do it every day and you feel like, oh, I don't need to do that. You do need to do that. We all need to do it to remember to engage the core throughout the day. Let's do two more of those. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, shoulders. Exhale, shoulders, chest, ribs, belly. One more time. And now we're going to do a couple of abdominal exercise using that diaphragmatic breathing. As we exhale, we're going to push the air out and then just relax, push, 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 and feel yourself engaging your body. Your upper body braces against the floor. You can use your feet. Last 8, 7, 6, 5. I know you're feeling like, oh, I got to add my upper body too. Don't do it. Don't give in. Keep contracting through the abdominals. We're going to do 4 more. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now hold it right here and pulse, 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 pulse. Pull it back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it right here. Keep breathing. Keep holding that abdominal bracing. And on your next exhalation, gently relax. Rolling to one side, coming up onto or into a seated position. Slowly crossing the legs. Let's just start with that breath with the arms. As we exhale, we'll drop to the right. Inhale back to center, drop to the left. And we'll just keep doing that. Now, as you drop to the right, stay mindful of your left hip. It's going to want to drop or it's going to want to lift. Keep it anchored. Anchor that right hip. Anchor that left hip. Anchor that right hip. One more time, both sides. We're going to hold here. Keep anchoring the hip. So what's going to want to happen is that shoulder wants to keep reaching over. That's fine. But keep your mind on that hip. Inhale back to center. Opposite side. Again, that shoulder wants to lift. Keep the shoulder pulled away from the ears. Stay mindful of the hip. And come back to center. We'll do a couple cycles of twists here. So this time as we exhale, we twist over to the right. That left hand holds on to the right knee and twist. Come back up. And same thing, when you twist, you want to be mindful of that opposite hip. Glue that opposite hip down to the floor. One more time here. We're going to hold it. Glue both hips down to the floor. Straighten out the back and rotate. And notice as you exhale and pull your abdominals in, you can twist a little more deeply. On your next inhalation, we'll come back up to center. Opposite side, we're going to hold this one. Anchor both hips onto the floor and twist. And then inhaling both arms. Coming back to center. Last variation here is just twisting around with that upper body. So I've got that left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. One more time here, twisting, feeling through the lower back as I roll forward. Left side of the body, upper back. Right side of the body, twist, left, upper back. And go ahead and relax. So from here, just gently change the cross of your legs. And we're going to be leaning forward now. As we lean forward, key here is you're going to want to lift the tailbone away from the floor. Keep anchoring the tailbone down to the floor. So inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, push back with the outsides of your ankles so you can anchor that tailbone a little more easily. Keep pulling the navel toward the spine to get more flexibility in the lower spine. And on your next inhalation, We'll gently bring the body back to an upright position. From here, we're going to move to the chair and get to the chair and get through a couple more exercises on the chair today. So we'll start with the first exercise that we did yesterday, which is just that tricep stretch. Triceps, back of the upper arms, and these tend to get tight when we hunch forward. All of this tends to shorten, and that holds us forward. In order to straighten out, we really need to lengthen the triceps. Otherwise, we're kind of held in that curved forward position. So bring the elbows to the chair, lean back into the hips. The further back you are, the more of a stretch you're going to get. If it's painful when you lean back, go ahead and move your knees a little closer to the chair. Press the hands together and just allow the head to fall. And then drop your hands back drop your thumbs toward your back. As you inhale, reach the elbows forward. As you exhale, slide the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, reach the elbows forward. And see what happens now when you just relax your neck and head. And then from here, gently shift over to the right and gently shift over to the left. Now, you don't have to shift that far. You're going to feel this pretty quickly. As I shift over to the right, I really have to ground my left elbow into the chair. And then I shift over to the left, I have to ground through my right elbow. So just very gently shifting side to side, but feeling how that intensifies the stretch. On the opposite side, so as I shift over to the right, I have to use my left elbow to ground, and that stretches that, and vice versa. On an inhalation, I'll just bring my arms back to center, lift the head, and then one hand at a time, bring myself back up to an upright position. We're going to take a seat onto the chair. We're going to go through some sequences on the chair. We started with some of these yesterday. The first, we're going to bring the hands behind the head and just lift the chin toward the ceiling. Now, keep pushing your elbows back and sliding your shoulder blades down your back. So each time I exhale, I'm pressing my head into my hands, pulling my elbows back and sliding my shoulder blades down the back. I'm going to come back to an upright position now, still pressing my head into my hands, pulling the elbows away from each other. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, anchor the hips. Pull the elbows away from each other. And notice here, you can really push down into your sits bones with your shoulders as the shoulders pull down toward the seat of the chair. You can feel the weight transferring down into the sits bones. And even from there, maybe even feeling the feet stabilizing on the floor. But if you're dropping your shoulders away from your ears, this should be a pretty intense stretch for your upper back and shoulders. From here, we're going to lean back into the chair and then drop the head. Now, keep pulling the elbows away from each other. Support the head with the hands. Anchor the feet to the floor. And just allow the back to relax. Now, you may be arching your lower back. So I'm going to have you come back to an upright position. You can relax the arms for just a moment here. I'm going to play with the lower back here for a moment, arching the back and then rounding. Now, this feels like a stretch for the lower back, and it is, but we're going to be using that lower back to support that upper back stretch. So just warm up the lower back and then go ahead and tuck under and feel how that helps you to anchor yourself against the chair. When we bring the hands back behind the head, we're going to still maintain that tuck. Now that's going to be a little more difficult, so just be mindful of that. So bring the hands behind the head again. This time lace the fingers so your non-dominant hand is on top, and just play with the cross of your fingers until it feels kind of off. And then you've got your non-dominant hand. Now again, we're going to start by tucking the pelvis under and maybe even arching the back to feel that. One more time, tuck under and then lean back into the chair. Tuck under again, tuck your hips under and then allow your head to come back. As you exhale, you're pulling your shoulders away from your ears, relaxing your head into your hands, opening the elbows, and tucking under with the lower back. Inhale, fill, exhale, open with the elbows and shoulders. And this is one of those exercises where the more you relax, the more you're going to feel yourself falling into this posture. And for these last 2 or 3 breaths, we're going to go back to the diaphragmatic breathing, inhaling, exhaling, pulling the shoulders down, chest comes to the back, ribs come together, navel reaches for the spine. Inhale, fill, exhale, chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. Inhale, fill, just relax. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. Now hold that pelvic floor and come to an upright position. And we'll sit up again. From here, we're going to bring the arms out to the side and together, pressing the forearms together, pressing the palms of the hands together. So inhale wide, exhale, press forearms and palms together, and want to round through that lower back so we can support the shoulders. So the tendency is going to be to want to round here. Keep that back nice and tall. One more time, press the hands together. From here, we're going to pull down and then release. Pull down and release. As you pull down, you're going to feel your shoulders wanting to round. Keep them nice and tall. A black top was maybe not the best choice here because it's difficult to see the difference. But I'm keeping my collarbones nice and wide here. And then from here, I'm going to open up the legs and just lean forward here and come back up. Lean forward, allow my back to stretch here and come back up. From here, I'm going to go ahead and twist over to the left, lean forward, bring that right arm to the outside of my left leg and open up my left arm. So inhale, fill the belly, exhale, shoulders, chest, ribs, navel to spine. One more time in. As we exhale, we'll come back down into that palms together position, come to the center again, and then twist to the opposite side. So now that arm coming to the opposite outside of the thigh, open up, go back to my diaphragmatic breathing, because that's really going to put us in the correct alignment. That's going to help us pull the shoulders back again. So while it sounds monotonous, it sounds tedious, it sounds like, well, I should keep saying that because it's really, really important. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. One more time, in. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. On your next exhalation, we'll bring the arms back together again, come back to center. Legs are going to come a little bit wider here, and we're going to come all the way down to the floor here. So just relax both arms to the floor, walk the feet a little bit wider, and from here now, go ahead and just shift the hips side to side. Sorry, folks, this is easy to see, so that's not easy either. I'm pushing with my right foot and pulling backward with my left foot, and then switching sides. Push with right, pull backward with left. So I'm working through the hips here. Arms are falling toward the center again. And lean forward a little bit further so that you can stretch through those hips. The knees can come a little bit wider. Take a look at your feet. The inside lines of your feet should be roughly parallel. And then from here, we're going to come into another twist. So that left hand stays on the floor, the right hand opens. Inhale, fill the core. Exhale, shoulders and chest, ribs, belly. Shoulders and chest, ribs, belly. One more time. Shoulders and chest, ribs, belly, and come back to center. And so hopefully, at least if you can see the contrast here between colors, it's a little easier to see what we're doing here. We'll twist now to the opposite direction. So this time that right hand stays on the floor. We inhale, rotating up toward the ceiling. Exhale, shoulders and chest, ribs, belly. And each time you exhale, particularly in the lower belly, you're going to feel a little bit more of a stretch in the upper thighs. That's where we're going with this. One more nice deep breath in. As we exhale, coming back down. I'm running out of time. I'm still not getting through my whole, I'm sorry. From here, we'll come back to an upright position. Let's cross that right leg over the left, coming into a hip opener. Sitting nice and tall on the edge of the chair, actively flex the foot. Your hand is going to come to the outside of your foot. Left hand comes to the outside of the foot. I'm going to push my right foot into my left hand. Right foot pushes into the left hand. I resist with my left hand. Now again, I can hunch forward, but I want to really sit nice and tall. Slide the shoulders down. And if I slide those shoulders down actively and tuck my lower back, I can feel that in between the shoulder blades. Exhale, pull the chest toward the back and feel the collarbones widen. So we inhale, we release slightly, we exhale, engage. One more time, inhale, exhale, engage. And release. Change sides. Inhaling again, nice and wide. As we exhale, push that left foot into the right hand. And I can use the right hand, I'm sorry, I can use the left hand to push that knee toward the floor a little bit. You don't have to go too hard with this. Exhale, push the foot into the hand, maybe press that knee toward the floor a little bit. So we release. Don't forget to release on the inhalation and then engage on the exhalation. This whole thing can cause a rise in blood pressure if you never relax. That's not our goal. Our goal is to relax. So we're sort of feeling the contrast here between engaging and letting go. Engaging and letting go. Engaging on the exhalation, letting go on the inhalation. And then on your next exhalation, we'll gently release. Let's go into our seated eagle pose. So one more posture here. I'm going to have you step that right knee over the opposite. So crossing at the legs, maybe crossing at the feet. If the legs are extended, it's going to be a little easier to cross at the feet. If you walk the legs back, it's going to make this whole thing a little more intense. So just be mindful of what you're doing. So if the right knee is on top, then the right arm is going to be below and the left arm is going to be on top. Crossing at the elbows, pressing the backs of the hands together. So I can stretch through my upper back. I can really round through that upper back and feel the stretch. And then I'm going to straighten it out. You can wrap your hands together one more time if that's appropriate, but make sure that that back is nice and tall and the collarbones feel nice and wide. As you exhale, engage. As you inhale, relax. And gently release, unwind. Shoulders, unwind the legs. And we'll just change sides. So crossing, widening your feet if you need to, wrapping that ankle around if it's an option for you. If it's not, don't worry about it. We're stretching through the hips here. This just intensifies the stretch through the hips. But if it's too much and you can't feel what you're doing in the first place, don't worry about it. So that left hand is on the top. We're going to put the left hand or the right hand on the bottom. All right. So you're cross that right hand under, left hand's on top. Press the backs of the hands together. If it's an option for you, go ahead and wrap the hands one more time. As we inhale, we fill the belly. As we exhale, slide the shoulders away from the ears, slide the elbows down toward the chest. Ribs come together, belly. Chest, ribs, belly. Last time here. Engage, 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 and release. And we'll come down to the floor for final Shavasana. The goal of final Shavasana, remember, is just to give yourself a few minutes relaxing on the floor, just letting everything go and feeling into your body. It's this moment or two of stillness that allows the body to recover. See if you can listen for silence in your ears. Where do you feel the heat? Do you feel it in your upper back, shoulders, chest? Do you feel heat in your abdomen, hips, thighs, upper arms, calves, bottoms of the feet? That's where extra circulation is taking place. And truly, that is where energy is being delivered. That feeling that you have, that's energy flowing through your body. Now, you can think of that mystically. You can think of that a little more theoretically. Or you can think of that very literally. Energy in the form of molecules in the blood being delivered to individual cells. You can open to absorbing that energy, taking that energy in. And with each exhalation, letting go of what you don't need. And that too can be thought of very literally in the form of exhaling carbon. It can be thought of much more theoretically in the form of exhaling old ideas, exhaling tension in the muscles. And after a few moments, you start to feel yourself cool down. And all we're trying to do is exactly that. Once the body cools down, the exchange is slowing down. We know that the body has done a little bit of repair, it's replenished itself. And now we'll get on with it. Bring yourself back from Shavasana in whatever way feels comfortable. A long stretch, gentle twisting side to side. You can rotate the neck. Knees dropping side to side, whatever feels good. And bring yourself back to an upright position by rolling to one side and pressing yourself back up. Thank you again for joining me today. I am going to go through the chair sequence one more time tomorrow. I do want to get through a couple more postures using the chair. I do some of these sequences on the floor, and one of my goals here was to show you how some of this can be done on the chair. Not only is it a little less challenging in some ways, I guess that's my point. It's a little less challenging in some ways because you're not bearing so much of your weight. But the benefit of it is that you find that you can stretch more deeply into some areas when other parts of your body are supported. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow for another edition of Status Hearing. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.